Hello, everybody, and welcome to my next review episode. This time it's Family Guy episode. Uh, I don't know the number, but season 17, Trump Guy. This episode, I have a lot of not so great things to say about it, and I'm just was very disappointed with this Family Guy episode. I mean, I don't have time to watch every single Family Guy episode. I mean, there's so many episodes, and like they cover so many topics. It can get overwhelming sometimes. In fact, and just with tonight's episode, I just had some time to sit down and relax, but it just wasn't all that great. I found it very disappointing. It was way too political. I mean, look, the opening is Donald Trump and Peter Griffin. Like, now, at this point, you already know it's going to be a political episode. So, at this point, we already know. We see Donald Trump, we see Peter Griffin, and we already know this is going to be a political episode and all that sorts of stuff. If you know it opens with this and Family Guy, you definitely know it's going to be a political episode. I didn't find that funny. It was very creepy. It was very disturbing. Like, look, blowing bubbles, a mature adult, like, you gotta be kidding me. That's not even funny. So eventually, the Griffin family moves to their new house in Washington D.C., where Peter gets a new job. If you haven't watched the last episode, there's a little short, like, last minute part where Peter Griffin gets called by the president for his new job after he was heard on his own city news, and Peter Griffin took the job. Obviously, it pays well. If he gets to be famous and whatnot, definitely wants all the attention. I mean, that's Peter Griffin in a nutshell, and like he seems to like it. Like Meg, you can look at her face; she really doesn't seem to like it. And like, look, come on, she's like, oh, come on, can we go back to Quahog? And like, but then Lois just tells Meg to like give her father a chance. He's got a new job opportunity. Things can end up well for them. So the kids end up giving in and they adjust to life a little bit. There are little quick cutaways. Well, this is the first part at the bachelorette party in the White House, and people kept saying Meg looked like some weird ugly girl. And I mean, yeah, Meg is ugly, but I mean, do we really have to rub it in her face? Anyways, and then as I'm keeping recapping to the episode, we see Donald Trump's daughter, and like she looks like this, and then she got upset and she broke her phone, and then she was just talking about something with Meg. She was gonna give her a makeover and whatnot, and then eventually, yep, there you go. There's Meg. And then everyone talks about how pretty she is and whatever. Oh, and then there was that ad from Geico. Save 15% or more on car insurance. Haha. Way to throw it in, Geico. So then Meg compliments how she says that everyone says she's pretty, and then Donald Trump's daughter takes her to meet the president. And then there we are. Donald Trump like attempts to shake her hand, but we kind of already know what he's gonna do, given the controversy about him and women and all that whatnot. And this is pretty disturbing. So then after Donald Trump does that to Meg, does whatever he was attempting to do, Meg goes back to home and attempts to complain to her parents about what Donald Trump did. And obviously, it's the family. Like, you mean Meg's kind of the person who's gonna be abused, and they're not gonna believe her. Oh, we don't believe you, Meg. You're just saying that. You just want to go home. And like, oh yeah, exactly. And then we see this little news live joke, and then like where they're all talking about stuff about Donald Trump, and then Peter just keeps talking about an erection. And I thought it was kind of funny at first, but I felt like this thing went on way too long, and it just became like more annoying than rather funny. And that was literally totally random. And then there was this little cutaway. I remember. I thought it was kind of funny how like they were talking about how they didn't like that guy, and they just kept adding captions on him. And like as soon as he starts to talk, he says something. It says like dirt. Yeah, we're like, what's that? Durham, Sleepy Hollow, Herb Dippity, when he's really saying something else. But that was just a quick cutaway, and then this really unfunny scene started to happen. I mean, like, look, there you go. It's that again. But then when Peter Griffin sees it again, he finally takes note about Donald Trump and sexually assaulting Meg, and he decides to be a nicer person, and he starts to develop disrespect for Donald Trump once he finds out that he was doing that to his daughter. It's nice for Peter to finally stand up and support his daughter. I mean, like, throughout the entire show, he's been abusing his daughter. There was this one episode where he even shot her with a gun. I mean, that was, like, really, really cruel. I mean, I understand this is a cartoon, but that's just cruel. And then, see, look, even Lois is mad. I mean, now she believes Meg. Yeah. And then Donald Trump is like talking to something to Peter, and then Peter doesn't like it, and then somehow it leads to a fight, which is shown here. Yeah, they're like, oh, we're moving out, whatever. And then, yep, and then there you go. Peter's with Trump. And then he starts saying a bunch of negative stuff, and then look, they immediately start fighting. And this went on for way too long. It felt like a rehash of the Simpsons guy where Peter and Homer were just fighting over and over and over and over and over. And it went on for like 10 whole minutes. It was just filler. Like, I mean, I understand they're fighting for like 30 seconds, but I feel like they just include that 5-minute fight scene in this episode just for filler. Like, look, it kept going on and on and on and on and on and on. Look. And it's fine over here, but then it gets super, like, really creepy and bloody and just not really needed at all. And, yeah, see, look, this isn't really needed. Like, after this, I mean, The Simpsons never gets up to this kind of gore, but look at Family Guy. I mean, I understand that it's for ages 13 and up, but, I mean, it doesn't have to get this gory to kind of prove a point. And then the blood starts to come in. Look, I found this very, very unfunny. Look, it's just a buzzer just to demand his needs. The Coke, and obviously the Coke means that because he's fat and, he wants Coke. It's obviously just kind of, teasing him. And then once he tries to slam Peter on that second button, it's like a launch of nuclear weapons. It just becomes way, way, way too political. Like, all this is just too political. The Democrats always believe Donald Trump has a button where they can, he can, launch a nuclear weapon, and if he pushes it, 10 times, he can launch 10 of them at, North Korea, Russia, whatever. I don't know. And then the fight even gets to the monuments. Look, and they're all running away. And then, Peter even grabs a taser and tases all of them. And somehow they end up flying into a building, which is kind of weird. Yep, and look at it. It looks like, look, he's in his underwear. His teeth are all chipped off. This is really, really disturbing. And then, I don't know, Chris has something weird and stupid to say. I don't know. I find Chris really boring. So then, they eventually hop on planes, and they end up crashing the planes into each other, and they end up falling. And somehow, in a nice act, Donald Trump tries to save Peter, But then Peter complains that it's too small and he can't be saved. So Donald Trump tries to move down and try to grab him further, but he ends up falling with Peter. And they both fall, but luckily they are saved by a Canadian trampoline. Oh, there you have it. Or bouncer, whatever you call it. By Justin Trudeau. What a surprise. I mean, look, it's Justin Trudeau, the nice prime minister, is always ready to help out someone in need, which is, I kind of liked that, but I mean, that was kind of a good political kind of joke, like Canada's on the other side and they're willing to help, like if any problems, and clearly this is a problem. But then, and then he leaves on clouds. Oh, and then they make a joke about Putin, which I thought was pretty unfunny. Look, there's Putin right now. And then overall, Peter and the family go back home to Quahog, and then they watch an episode where Peter's on Jeopardy, and he keeps talking about erections again. I mean, look, this was really, really unneeded. Like, it wasn't really necessary. It was just more filler. And then in the end, the entire family talks about how they should encourage American people to read the Steele dossier, which was a controversy between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin and the interference of the election. So overall, I have a lot of disappointing things to say about this episode. I mean, it was like I said, it's too political, and I mean, it got way too political. Like the entire episode was like 22 minutes of politics and just trying to be anti-Republican, because Seth MacFarlane is a Democrat, and usually this is all said throughout Brian, but Brian literally had no involvement in the episode at all. Like he was only he only had 30 seconds of dialogue the whole episode, and he only appeared for like a minute. Most of the episode was focused on Peter, and when you have that to say, it's not just Brian that's the liberal, it's the entire show. Like they're trying to force it on the viewers. And I mean, this isn't a great way for 2019 to start, especially for Family Guy, which has been declining in the viewer rates for many years. So overall, I mean, the voice talents are always good, as always. I mean, Seth MacFarlane, Seth Green, Alex Borstein, they're all great, and they've continued to be great ever since the show started. But it's just the writing in this episode was really, really bad, and I didn't really like it as much as I expected it to be. And I already knew it was going to be a bad episode from the start. And I didn't really have high expectations for it, but because it's Family Guy and it's modern Family Guy. But this was just beyond unacceptable. So anyways, then thanks for watching, and see you all next time.